Welcome everybody to Making It Simple. Pastor Randy here. Hope you're doing well on this beautiful Wednesday. So we're going to jump back into the lesson. What is the church? Who is the church? And why does it matter? Brand new teaching series. We just started this week, part 1 yesterday. We're going to jump back into where we left off. So Jesus has told Peter, upon this rock, I will build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. Now, there's so many different components in that one verse. All right, so we talked a little bit about that yesterday in the fact that it was very clearly directed. I will build. Okay? And so we understand the personal nature that Jesus is embracing this project as his own. Very clear in that I will build my church. Now, what's important is that we understand the foundational statement in this. All right. So he's speaking to being able to build something. All right. When we build anything, it doesn't matter what it is, but if it is a physical structure or if it is a career, all right, or a movement, it doesn't matter what it is. It has to have a foundation. Has to. All right. I grew up in a family of builders, literal builders, house builders, home improvements, all those different things. And one of the keys, if you're building a brand new project, had to have a foundation. Now, that could be multiple different examples of that, whether it's concrete footers, whether it's 2x12 beams, whatever. But regardless, there has to be a foundation. Jesus said he's building his church upon this rock. All right. So what is he speaking to there? Faith. What does that mean? What is that faith? It is the trust and belief in the statement that Peter said. And he's saying this will be the establishment of those who come from this point forward as to how we go forward, based on whether you actually believe it or not. Because Peter said, you are the Christ. You are the Son of God. Now, those are affirmative statements. That's a positive inflection of a word. Seeing there, in other words, I have no doubt. All right. And then we have the Son of God, the Christ. That is different than a. All right, while very, very small words, but those words, oftentimes, like even with a, one letter, it changes the entire context of the scripture, of the conversation, of the point. Because when Peter says you are the Christ, then that means there is no other, the only one, no other option, no A, B, or C, no multiple choice, not one of many, the one. He said, based on that alone, that fact, that truth, that foundational statement, I, meaning the Lord himself, will build, that is continually construct, my personal ownership church. Now, we spoke of yesterday kind of the laying the groundwork out. When we hear that word in today's society, immediately we think of a local body of worship contained within a red brick building with a steeple on it. Or it can be a storefront, it could be a big metal building, it could be a giant cathedral. So the structure, the architecture, if you will, of the building is not what's in question. But that is exactly where many go when they hear that word. But was that what Jesus was talking about? No. I tend to try to stay out of controversial waters, but more and more it's becoming harder because we live in a conflicting world. Not only through the evolution of words, which words were never intended to do that. Okay, when they were proclaimed what they meant, that was always what they should mean. But that's not how society works anymore. Okay, love is different now, cool is different now, Bad is different now. Dope is, and we could go on and on all the different words that have had 1,000 different meanings. Well, church, again, when we understanding the original context in which that word was built from. I don't do a lot of big words. I do very, very little Greek and Hebrew and stuff like that, because that's just not the call that God placed on my life. Again, that's for the scholars and the theologians and the biblical intellects. That's not what God called me to do. I'm a simple guy, making it simple. That's what this show is all about, is talking about how does this affect me? How does this matter? How do I apply this to my life? Because I feel like in the course of the years of teaching that I've been allowed to do, and it has been an absolute honor, the more and more that I understand the ability that we've been given to connect with each other, and especially now, not just from a pulpit, but from a medium like this, all right? Being able to stream into or watch or whatever from anywhere in the world. That is truly amazing to me. When Scripture says that we would have to reach to the ends of the earth with the gospel before Jesus could return. 40 years ago, 100 years ago, one might have said, well, I get that, but how was that possible? Now, sitting here in front of this screen, it's possible. Anywhere with a Wi-Fi signal can watch this. It doesn't matter if it's in California or if it's in Zimbabwe. And that's amazing to me. But when Jesus said, I will build my church, the important, it is so important that we do not lose focus on that. Who is the church? What is the church? Why does it matter? Well, let's look at those, all right? What is the church? What is the church? Well, it is a foundation from Christ himself, all right? We take this word from a Greek word, and I'm going to read this. And again, this is not being smarty pants at all. Okay, so this is clear truth. All right, this word comes from a Greek word called ekklesia. Now, some have heard that before, others have not. It simply means the assembly or gathering of believers of Jesus. I will build my personal ownership church. Those who gather in my name. That's what it is. So that's what it is. The gathering. Okay? Who is it? The believers. The believers. Universal, all over. Not down at the Baptist church, not over at the Catholic church, not down the street at the Pentecostal church, not over the hill at the Presbyterian church. Those are gatherings individually, oftentimes divided because of differentials in belief systems or worship styles. But the church, my church, are those who gather in my name together. This is important that we understand why that was formed, because we've got the call upon our life to bring this gospel to the world. We oftentimes are not able to do that productively and functionally because of the differences that we allow to divide us. That is why in the book of Acts it says they set those differences aside, because they saw that they were divisionary. They saw that they were unhelpful, okay? Because as humans, as people, we're going to have differences, okay? Some people like blue, some people like green, some people like purple, some people like yellow. That's neither here nor there. It's a personal preference. Some people like steak, some people like salad. I happen to like them both. I think they're great. But we see that what we allow to divide us allows the enemy an open door to come in and not only continue that division, but help make it grow. What is the church? The gathering. Who is the church? The believer. Why does it matter? Because Jesus wants people to hear about him. We'll talk deeper about this tomorrow when we return right here and making it simple. And then why I do this and why we're going to be doing this lesson is something very, very personal to me as a pastor, as a believer, as a follower, as a member of his church. We'll talk more about that tomorrow. God bless you, friends. Have a great day.